On the venerable day of the sun, let all the magistrates and people residing in the cities rest. That was Constantine, 321 AD. His pronouncement was not canonized as scripture, even though it led to the abandonment of the Sabbath and the keeping of Sunday by millions of people. There's also the Roman Council of Laodicea, 364 AD. Christians must not Judaize by resting on the Sabbath, but must work on that day. And if any be found to be Judaizers, that is obeying God. They weren't Judaizing, they were obeying God. If any be found to be Judaizers, let them be anathema from Christ. And if they declared you anathema, you know what that meant back then. The fact that they had to condemn those who were Judaizing shows that there were still many Christians keeping the Sabbath back then. There have always been Christians throughout history keeping the Sabbath. Now, the Council of Laodicea and the Venerable Day of the Sun Edict were pronouncements of man. If you want to get some more insight into Constantine, this is what he said after the First Council of Nicaea in 325 AD. This was about the dating of Passover, but this shows you his motivation. It appeared an unworthy thing that in the celebration of this most holy feast, we should follow the practice of the Jews, who have impiously defiled their hands with enormous sin, and are therefore deservedly afflicted with blindness of soul. Let us then have nothing in common with the detestable Jewish crowd. Vile anti-Semitism. And I could also quote from Martin Luther's On the Jews and Their Lies. Now, am I saying that those of you who keep Sunday are anti-Semitic? Of course not. But the genesis of the practice and of the abandonment of the Sabbath was anti-Semitism. The one command God said to remember, people want to abandon. So you could follow the practices of men, and I've read you their wonderful pronouncements, or you could simply follow what God said. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. You shouldn't be asking, do you have to keep this command? Is this command salvational? Why do I keep the Sabbath? It's quite simple. Because God said to. It was blessed at creation. It was never unblessed. Why wouldn't I keep it? Why wouldn't I not covet? Why wouldn't I not commit adultery? Do you want to follow man or God? Forget about whether it's salvational, you have to keep it. That's what it boils down to. Peace all.